Alright, so before we go ahead and finish out this module, let's take a quick look at how we can light and render our XGen. Now, the nice thing about lighting and rendering XGen is the fact that it pretty much renders like geometry. So we really don't actually have to do very much in order to start getting a render. Let's go ahead and just start by making a light. I'll come over here to Arnold, Lights, and I'll just create myself an area light. I'll go ahead and just click here to Panels, and we'll look through Selected. I'll just go ahead and navigate over, and maybe we'll light from this angle here. I think something like that should be fine. Come back over to my perspective. Okay, there's my light, and I'll probably increase its size a little bit. Now, chances are this is not going to be bright enough. If I do go ahead and take a quick render here, go ahead and do that. Give that just a second. We should see it's most likely going to be a pretty dark screen. We don't really have much of anything. If you look really close, we can see some highlights. That's about it. So what we want to do is make some adjustments to this light. I'm going to go ahead and start by coming down here and turning off normalize. And I'll probably go ahead and up my exposure at least to 1 for right now. Okay, I'll probably also turn on this so I can get kind of centered a little bit there. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick render now and see if that's going to improve at all. Give that just a second. I'll actually pause while this renders. All right, so something obviously went pretty wrong there. Oops, it seems to be rendering again. But we're obviously missing our human head. Now, I don't know why this happened, but this might have just been a setting I accidentally turned on earlier. If you take a look here under render stats, he simply is set to not be visible. So I'll turn on cast shadows, receive shadows, motion blur, primary visibility, and visible reflections and refractions. And that should go ahead and actually make sure he is in fact renderable. I'll go ahead and hit render again, and I'll go ahead and pause while that renders. And there we go. We can see that it is in fact rendering. The hair is rendering and it's casting shadows. There's really nothing fancy you need to do. It renders like geometry. So let's go ahead and maybe increase this light a little bit more. I'll go ahead and maybe up my exposure to 3. And to kind of help me out a bit, I can go ahead and open my Arnold render view, which is going to be an interactive renderer. I'm just going to shift that over, open in the RON view there. Give that a moment. For some reason, it didn't seem to have rendered his hair up there. That's not a problem. We just want to make sure that this is bright enough. And actually at 3, that looks okay to me. So we'll go ahead and maybe up this to about 3.5. Let's go ahead and render once more. And you'll see it is actually rendering pretty fast. Now I only have one light in here. We obviously can set up multiple lights to get a better render, but I'm just concerned with making sure we can actually see the render, which we absolutely can. So let's say now we want to change how the hair looks. Well, we have 2 ways to go about editing the hair. If I go over here into my hypershade, let me go ahead and bring that up. One of the nice things you're going to find is that these shaders, you can see I've actually named them here. I have my hairstyle shader, my beard, and my eyebrow. We'll select the hairstyle one. Go ahead and just bring that down. This is not an Arnold shader. However, unlike the shaders that we had in NHair before, these are fully compatible with Arnold. If I go ahead and adjust these colors, we will see that come through. So if I go ahead and make that brighter, bring up my Arnold render view here. Okay, it doesn't seem to want, up there it goes. So you can see that the hair is lightening in color. So again, that's nice. We can work with this shader. However, just like you can work with the Arnold hair shader inside of NHair, we can also apply the Arnold hair shader to XGen as well. Let me show you how we can do that. We'll just go here to our hypershade. Go ahead and open that up. I'll go ahead and just make a new material here. We'll just select Arnold, and I'll make an AI hair right there. So there's the AI hair shader. And make sure that that's selected there. And what I need to apply it to is going to be, if you open up the human head right here, and let's say open up hairstyle, you want to select this geo here. And so now I'll just right click. Oops, seems to be stuck a little bit. We'll give that just a second to snap out of that. All right. And I'll go ahead and right click here, and we'll just say assign material to selection. Oops, looks like I deselected that. Let's grab that again. Okay, and we'll just go ahead and right click here and say assign material to selection. All right, and let's go ahead and take a render now. I'll go ahead and choose my render. All right, there we go. And you could see that the AI hair shader has now been applied. And now you're free to go in there and edit the AI hair shader exactly as you did in the prior modules. You can just go ahead and select the hairstyle right over here. Oops, let me actually select this hairstyle over here. Give that just a second. And now you can click over here to the actual AI hair shader and you can come in here and change just as you did before. You can adjust your root color, specular settings, anything you want. So that pretty much wraps up this module on working with our XGen hair. Let's go ahead and see what we've covered. We started by taking a look at how we can actually create XGen splines specifically for lawn hair. We then took a look at the different tools we have for editing and deforming our different guide hairs. After that, we took a look at using the XGen utilities along with our guide hairs. For example, we were able to convert them into curves, we were able to edit them with lattices, as well as a variety of other tools. We then took a look at converting curves to guide hairs. Specifically, I had curves I had imported from another software, and we were able to use those curves as our guide hairs to create hair inside of XGen. We then took a look at working with modifiers, much as we did with the prior module. We took a look at working with the noise as well as the cut, but we also took a look at working with coil. After that, we took a look at using the anim wires modifier. That allowed us to actually convert certain hairs into dynamic hairs driven by the nHair system, allowed us to add some dynamics, and then transfer those dynamics back to our XGen hair. And finally, we took a quick look at how we can light and render inside of XGen. So we have one more module ahead of this one, and this is probably going to be the most amazing module. It's a brand new tool inside of Maya, so please join us in the next module and you'll see what's probably one of the most amazing hair creation and editing systems we've ever had inside of Maya. So I'll see you all there.